Hey, have you ever made a promise before to someone else? Or has anybody ever made a promise to you? Hey, I think over time, I think we've all had promises made to us and we've made promises to other people. Well, what happens when you promise something to somebody else and it doesn't happen? Do you really trust them? Do you really believe that what they're saying is true? Hey, I don't know about you, but if someone makes me a promise and it's not kept, I don't believe them anymore. I don't trust them anymore. In the same way for me, if I make a promise to someone and don't keep it, they may not trust me either anymore. Hey, well, today we're going to talk about a promise that David made to his friend Jonathan. And we're going to see how that play out. Did David keep the promise or did he not keep the promise to Jonathan? I want you to read this story real quick, answer these few questions, and when you're done, press play. But again, I want you to see, how did David respond to the promise he made to Jonathan? All right, so that we see Jonathan has passed away, Jonathan has died, and David is now king over Israel. Well, David promised Jonathan that he would take care of his whole family. And so he reached out and said, where are all the family members of Jonathan? Where are all the relatives? Are there any left in the world? And the king's officials found out that there was one person left. So David had that person come to him and he honored that promise. He kept the promise by taking care of this man. Hey, and the bottom line of today's story is honor others by keeping your promises. David didn't have to keep this promise. Jonathan had passed away. He was no longer around. Jonathan wouldn't know if he was real sincere or not, or if he followed through on his promise. But David knew. David knew he made a promise, and he wanted to honor that promise, and he kept that promise by taking care of the family. And he took care of this man and provided for him. He kept his promise. I don't know about you, but I want to encourage you. If you make a promise, honor other people today by keeping those promises. Don't make promises you can't keep. Honor other people today by keeping your promise and see how much of a difference and an impact it can have, not just on you, but on other people when you honor them in that way. So I want to encourage you to do that. And if you've got a story about how you showed honor or someone showed honor to you by keeping their promise, hey, put it in the comment section below today. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Also, as we wrap up, I want to go over the memory verse we've been looking at for the past few weeks. Romans 12:10. Love one another deeply, honor others more than yourselves. And we have a real opportunity to honor other people. Let's honor other people today by keeping our promises. All right, everyone, that wraps up our story this week. I'll see you next week with a whole new story. Have a great week, everyone.